the lioness to tell her own story. The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes. Wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Rastafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice. Rastafari.
He did not know how divine his setup was, because when these two met each other, and here I'm building energetically on the story as it is told in her bibliography. When these two met each other, they instantly knew. The connection was clear not only to them, but to others around them. That they had found where they want to be. And this we see most clearly when early in the marriage, her uncle and her grandfather come to her and say, you know what, you're going to have to leave him alone too. Even though this is a sacred marriage. This is a marriage that is done in the church by the request of His Majesty and Her Majesty. They make that request together, you know. They don't want a marriage that can be broken. But her grandfather approached her and her uncle approached her and said, listen, we don't like where this is going. Get rid of that man. And we see Empress Menen really become the lioness that she is. She was pregnant with their second child, and she says no.
Well, front to us, a son was born and a child was given.
I want to ask you a question. Have you got your book? Haile Selassie's Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priest Warrior King. I've read the book in its entirety, and I must say it's very inspirational, very informative, and very historical, right?
Them call him Rastafari when he was born, rain fall from the sky. Them call him Rastafari when he was grown in airplanes he fly. They call him Rastafari, iron break the chain, beat not, don't cry. Them call him Rastafari, read the Revelation chapter 5 verse 5. Then born near the city of Harar, the inspiration for Bob Marley's guitar. People crowd him like some big superstar. It no matter if England.
Yes, so I think some of that was said already, but I think it's coming through now.
It's a real lengthy delay.
Okay.
Empress Dionne, you have to just talk, you know. Just talk. If you're gonna talk, we're bubbling the sip family down, you know. This is part of the excitement of the moment, you know. Some little thing have to come and then we get through at the end. You know how the movie always said. All right. Dr. Asantewaa, just continue, please, because I know you've dealt with this topic and I want to get some context.
Yeah, so I would just build on what I heard Empress Wolete Beresford saying, that indeed her early marriages, and His Majesty is her fourth marriage. Her early marriages were allowed by Ethiopian law as social contractual marriages. They are not sacred. They can be easily abrogated. We know that everyone amongst royalty is trying to vie for a position as close to the throne as possible. And so, unfortunately, at that time in Ethiopia, there was marrying of younger children to people who they believed had the ambition to make the throne. So at age 11, really, Empress Menen is married, not of her own making, but through contractual agreements from her grandfather, from her uncle, who is Lijiasu, trying to get as close as possible to the throne. And when they see that whoever they have married, their niece, their granddaughter to, is not making any progress, they willingly step in and abrogate the marriage and end the marriage and then reroute you to somebody else. So this was Empress Menen's story for 3 marriages, you know, and I believe 4 children, you know. So this was a young woman who I heard a sister from South Africa say, we have to call her a strong woman. because there are women who that would have broken, to go through that many husbands that early. But she comes through with colors. But we know that Ligiasu, who is heir apparent to the throne, already has some feeling that the son of Ras Makonnen might also be ambitious for the throne. So it is implied in her bibliography that he wanted to get rid of a possible threat that he was feeling, and he wanted to send Ras Tafari to Harar, really. And this was even before he was Ras. Just wanted to send him to Harar and just get him as far away as possible from central Ethiopia. And he set up the meeting of young Empress Menen and then Liz Tafari. And he wanted that union as a way to, I would say, eliminate the threat that they would butt heads. And he did not know how divine his setup was. Because when these two met each other, and here I'm building energetically on the story as it is told in her bibliography. When these two met each other, they instantly knew. The connection was clear not only to them, but to others around them. That they had found where they want to be. And this we see most clearly when early in the marriage, her uncle and her grandfather come to her and say, you know what, you're going to have to leave him alone too. Even though this is a sacred marriage. This is a marriage that is done in the church by the request of His Majesty and Her Majesty. They make that request together, They don't want a marriage that can be broken. But her grandfather approached her and her uncle approached her and said, listen, we don't like where this is going. Get rid of that man. And we see Empress Menen really become the lioness that she is. She was pregnant with their second child, and she says, no, I will not. I will not. I will not. And I've been told that maybe this story is a little massaged because in her biography, we find they translate exactly what was written by his name will come to me. And then they add Yared Michael. Thank you. Give thanks. The author has added some of her own making, right? So you're reading, and if you're not watching the italics, you know what I'm saying? You can start thinking that that's what was there originally, but everything italicized is of her own making, her own research, and not everything she references. So let's be careful, but we are told that she was asked to leave the palace pregnant because she said no to her uncle and her grandfather. And family members have said that there would be no way that would be possible. But of course, that is what is in the book. But we know that Empress Menen stands her ground. And in the translation, it says, when the baby was young, the young prince was young, she held him close to her. And she went to be with then Ras Tafari. Yeah, because he was away for the birth of that of the second child. So she stands because she knows she's found something right. And I don't think she saw the glory fully. I don't think this was a throne thing. I don't think that it was a money thing. I think it was a heart thing. I think they found each other. Yeah.
You see that? So when Janine sing a song named Lovers Found I, and then she want to tell you say she don't know much, I have to expose say she knows a
by
lot.
comparison.
Give thanks. What a joy. Does anyone want to add anything to this topic? And then we're gonna try to see if Empress Dionne can block up any other sounds.
Yes, I pray thee. I want to add to what Asantewaa blocked regarding the chemistry between Haile Selassie at that time, Lich Tafari or the jazz match. What was he at the time of the marriage? The jazz match,
The jazz
correct?
match, yes.
Okay, yes. And Princess, because she was princess. She was a princess, Princess Menen. I want to talk about the astrological pairings of the two. We can't leave that out because um, the ram, who is what the Empress symbolizes, being born under the zodiac sign of Aries. And then, of course, we know Haile Selassie is born under the zodiac sign of Leo. And if you know anything about astrology, you know that there is no more divine coupling, right, than those two fire signs. All right. So, and I call that too, so the two of them coming together was the making of the cosmos. You understand? And so that is why that love, in my opinion, was so strong and so divine. Because, and let me talk really briefly about Empress Menen's character, right? Or how her character is perceived within the Rastafari liberty. Many ones see the Empress as very humble, as somewhat docile, and that's simply because they have not heard much of her voice. So this quiet energy has been placed on her. However, that energy is contrary to the energy of an Aries woman. And so now we're in the season of Aries, and we're going to talk about it really briefly. So Aries women are very fiery women. They're leaders, and we saw her leadership come to the forefront, during the time of the invasion. You understand? They're very wise. So when Haile Selassie talks about her being his most trusted and faithful counselor, an advisor, we know that to be true. So the energy between the two of these leaders, okay, is something that could not have been foreseen by Lejatsu or whoever put them together. They had no idea what they were doing. But it's obvious that when the two of them got together, meaning Haile Selassie and Empress Menen, that energy stayed and it stuck. And that's why she was willing to forsake her family, you understand, and their wishes and their demands. Because when an Aries woman finds a lion that is strong and is powerful, she is willing to stay, and she is willing to advise and to strengthen him until eternity. So that's what that energy was about.
Mighty, mighty, mighty. Any other sounds on that topic?
Goosebumps and eye water. Beautiful.
I just wanted to add, I think it's important to mention as well, when Haile Selassie when Rastafari decided to marry Empress Menen, he made sure that his work that he was doing as the governor of Harar, he spent like a whole year stabilizing the province and making sure everything was running smoothly before he decided to ask the Empress Menen, to marry him. So I think looking at that, it shows that maybe he felt like he needed to do his groundwork before he could ask for her hand in marriage, so that he could feel like, he's worthy of what she was bringing to the table. The fact that he's making sure his work is done, so that he's an honorable man. He's already an honorable man, but just to make sure he can match her energy, I think that's really important. He didn't just meet her, fall in love, ask for marriage. He made sure he was ready and his work was done, his foundation was set. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie the first. Tell the people about Empress Menen. Well, even if the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, but through the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love, and even when the people start war, 'cause they see the city street found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. Almighty, I made your light shine, and after that light was a lifeline. It seems like the world is upside down. I will never hide, I'd rather stand my ground. Lion of Judah blessed with the triple crown. Can't come fool I with no circus clown. Now fear no hurricane or the cyclone. Respect for Mama Earth with that embedded on me bone. That's why I will never leave you alone. Protect you from harm when the alarm sound. So even when the stars they fall and the moon turn into blood, to the coming war we stand tall. I will shower you with my love. And even when the people start mal, but they see their city streets them flood, when the hurricane blow down our wall, I'll be by your side and me now but think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, your light was a lifeline. I think I found the love of a lifetime. I love you every day or the night time. The Almighty, I made your light shine, and unto I, your love was a lifeline. They say hurt people, maybe that's why Babylon them so evil. Maybe Babylon abused as a child. That's why them no like the light when you smile. That's why them no like how your body curve. The way how you dance get on Babylon nerve. Them no know how the Almighty you serve. Want to be a queen, so a king you deserve. And I'll be by your side when things get worse. When the city flood cause the dam just burst. When you can depend on no state or church. Firm like a Menen and Haile Selassie first.